Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're looking at Zilliqa. Before we jump into the price action, just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Okay, so we're still looking for that potential that we could be looking for, that continuation to the upside here. Looking for either this to be a C wave towards this 4 cent 292 or up here as a third wave towards the 06622 region. So obviously there's a lot of things that need to happen for this to take place. And one of the key things is not to lose this low here of this 02132. Basically, as long as we hold this, we can potentially look for this push to the upside. However, we need to just be careful because there is still the potential that we could have a more complex move within here. This is a W, this is an X, and we're still looking to come down for this Y. So we actually came up and got rejected right just below this 786 retracement here. So basically what I'm looking for is to see whether we actually start to break down from this. If we do start to break down, some of the key target areas would be towards this 1-to-1. If we're looking at this as a W, X, and a Y, which could actually look to bring us back down towards this 0181 region and bring us back into this support box here. Obviously, it doesn't have to come down to this 1-to-1. Some interesting areas here would be this 618, which would actually bring us back into this bottom and potentially give us a double bottom situation here. So this is something that we just need to keep an eye on within the structure. We could potentially be looking to break down into these zones here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to discuss that bullish potential, and we could looking at how this needs to progress if we are looking for continuation to the upside. So in the previous video, what we were having a look at is we were looking at a couple of things. I want to just discuss this. We're looking at this possibility that we could have had a 1-2-1-2 here, and then looking to push to the upside. But we actually took this low, and as soon as we do that, we can't look at it in that manner. The alternative that we were looking at was that actually potentially we could count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and we're looking for this B wave to come down here. We found this support here that's 50%, and we've actually pushed up towards the zone of the center line like we were talking about in the previous video. So if you did manage to catch that, well, I hope it was helpful. But basically what we're looking for here is whether we actually completed here or if this is going to extend up and become a bigger move. So I've got this yellow ABC mark down here. So this is looking for if this is going to progress as a corrective structure where this is A, B, and then C to the upside. So this is still a possibility. If we do start to break down deeper here to this 026 region, to this 023 region, basically we could look to find support again at this bottom channel line here and look to progress up as a bigger corrective structure. There is also the potential we could look at this as a bigger flat correction here, but what we would want to see is a 5-wave move to the downside. So this is the different things that we're currently keeping an eye on within this. So what we were talking about there, that bigger flat, is something like this. So I'm just keeping an eye on this as well. Potentially 3 waves down. We can argue 3 waves up. We're going to discuss this in a second. And then we could actually be looking for that continuation to the downside. But in order for that to happen, we'd either have to treat this whole move down here as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this would need to play out, or alternatively have a successions of 1s and 2s here, and then basically we're going to get something which pushes down like this. But this could actually look to take us lower than this 02502 if this is the case. So we're going to discuss this in a second as well. But basically what we need to just be aware of is for as long as we fail to take this high again of this 3267 and this high here of this 0391, basically we need to just be careful that we don't start to break down. We can see we have what looks to be a 5-wave structure here, but it doesn't look complete either. If we were looking at this, potentially we have 1, 2, 3, looking for 4 and 5. If it fails to develop that additional structure there, potentially what we could have is just that this is actually just an ABC, but it would be a very strong C wave in that case. So I'd only really look at it as something like that if we take this high. Other than that, I am still looking for that potential to push down a little bit more here. So the key thing within this though is if we do break down, what we need to be careful of is something like this playing out, where we actually have a bigger breakdown here, where we get something like this, where we get this is a 1 2, this is another 1 2 here, and then we're actually starting to break down for this third wave. So if we maintain this high of this 03005 and we start to break down directly here, and basically we see something like this form to the downside in 5-wave structure towards this 026330 region, we'd have to then be on the lookout for that possibility of an additional fourth wave here. So if we do move down to this 1618, that fourth wave would come in towards this 2767 range, and basically then we'd be looking for that continuation to the downside towards this 2599 to this 2549 region. If we do break down there, it's going to be key to see whether we can actually manage to cross this 2512. If we do cross 2512, what we could have here from the top is a bigger 5-wave move where this is all within a third wave. We get additional fourth and then a fifth wave, something like this. So this is going to be key. If we do start to break down and we take out these lows here of this 2522, what we need to be careful of is the fact that we could have a bigger 5-wave move here, which could look to actually bring us back down, in towards some of these lower ranges here. So the key thing with this, if we are looking for that possibility of continuation, basically we can see how this would potentially bring us back down to this 02502 region. Really, if we want to look for continuation to the upside, and we want to argue, that this is 1 2 as a flat, what we don't want to do is lose this lower range here. Let me just pull this fib on here. We don't want to lose this range of this 2287. If we start to lose 2287, I would be very cautious in the fact of looking for this to continue to the upside, and it becomes more likely that actually what we've just had here is a corrective structure, and then we're starting to break down in a bigger way, looking for targets lower down here towards this potentially this 2140 to this 1845 range. So that would be where we'd be looking for final support to come in. If we, however, start to lose this zone here of this 01845, basically we need to be careful because it could be starting to put this low in jeopardy here of this 1528. And if we do start to break down in a more impulsive way, what we could end up having is something like this playing out. So this is what we need to be careful of, that possibility of having a bigger 5-wave move from further back here, where this becomes 1 2. I'm actually going to remove the smaller subwave counting here. But basically, if we do start to break down deeper here, potentially what we could see is, let me turn off this flat, there we go. A bigger 5-wave structure where this becomes 1 2, then we start to break down, potentially, we get a wave 1 down into these zones, fail to break back above this high, break down in a bigger way, form a 5-wave move targeting out this 1337, then we'd have to look for a fourth and a fifth wave at that point. So this is looking for that possibility that that this move to the upside here could have just been corrective. We've discussed this before in previous videos, where we're looking for that possibility of still having a fifth wave to the downside, and that target range based off of this zone here, we could be looking towards this lower range here, and basically looking for this area here of this 1183 to this 00806 region. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. If we do start to break down in a bigger way, this could be potentially taking us down into that range. And then obviously we do have this, we have it's not actually in place anymore. Let me just change this up. What we could find is that, this could look to potentially complete along this trend line if we do come back down into the zone. So we'll be paying attention to this. If we do break down like this, potentially this could mean that we start to push down into some of these lower levels. So that is the bearish count within this structure, basically looking for a new low here, possibility of a fourth wave completed, looking for a fifth wave to the downside. So this is still in play, but until we actually lose 1845, we can still look for that bullish potential. And primarily that's what I'm looking for, because it is the first to invalidate. So what we need to see here is whether we actually start to progress to the upside. And the way that I'd be looking at that is, like I said, either we can look at the possibility that this is all 1, going to come back in for a 2, find support above this low, look for a rally from that point, or alternatively, we could have built 1, 2, and then we've got another 1, 2 here potentially. So that would be the most bullish count, and basically that would be looking at something like this. So if I come back into the 1 hourly here, um, that would be looking at the possibility that within here we have this as a wave 1, so it would actually be into this high, so that would be wave 1 here, WXY for a wave 2, and then the only issue I have is that to count this as a 5 wave move, you would have to say that either your wave 5 has extended here, where this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, this becomes 4, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a wave 5. Or alternatively, you would have to say wave 1 extended here, where this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you'd have to say there's a truncation, and this move starts from over here rather. So this is the issue that I have with this count, looking at it as a 5 wave move. But for as long as it holds this 2-5-2-1, potentially we can look for this possibility of a push to the upside. So the alternative way, instead of looking at it as a that more bearish count where we're looking for that possibility of this breaking down in a impulsive way, what we could actually have is just a bigger corrective structure where this is WX, and then actually what we're forming is this Y wave. So the Y wave 1-to-1 would actually be down here towards this 02722 range, and that would actually be bringing us back down into these lower areas here of the support box here. Losing this 26-21 makes it less likely we're going to see that continuation to the upside, but I am looking for the possibility that within here, we could see a push down towards this 27.72 area that would line up nicely with coming back into these lows. Alternatively, the 1-to-1, if we look at this as a W, an X, and a Y to the downside, what we could then be looking for is this 27.60 area at a 1-to-1. So we need to see, at the moment we just have impulsive looking structure to the downside, particularly over here. So if we want to get confirmation that we're out of this move and this is finished, we need to get back above this high point here. We need to get back above this area of this 03005 and actually get back above this higher range here too of this 3167 to this 3039. So the reason that I say this is because there's always the possibility that within this structure we could have completed this just as an ABC, and then we could be looking for that Y wave to the downside, and that is looking at that at this other count here, looking at this as a more complex correction. So I'm just going to remove this 1-2 out of the equation here. Um, this is not off the cards. We could be forming an A wave for this, which could look something like this. So we are looking at this as a corrective possibility. But if we do get this as a WX and a Y to the downside, really we need to take this high again for confirmation that we're still moving up. Until we do, we could get something like this, where this becomes an A, we get a B up, and then we get a C to the downside. And then either we look at this move as a bigger corrective pattern, as a bigger WX and a Y, but the problem is I don't really like the fact that it's taken this A or W wave high, and then we've got a 3 wave move down. I'd prefer it if we actually saw a flat play out here if we're going to look at it in that manner. But yeah, we still need to be aware that we could still see this drop down here. So this is why we need to maintain these key levels here if we're looking for the bullish scenario. So back to that, basically looking for that bullish re revised count here. What I would be looking for is this 26.91 to maintain. I wouldn't say that this is completed. It would make more sense to me if there's one more drop here, but we'll have to see whether this X wave holds here at this 31 cent range. If this X wave holds, potentially we could look for some more downside. If it fails to hold, then it actually could be completed. So this is going to be key here. Got W, X, and looking for this Y wave. We technically have come down deep enough that this Y wave could actually be in here, and then we'd have to look at this potentially as W, X, and then a flat for a Y wave, possibly. Um, that's the only real way that you could count it into this low at the moment. So I'm going to give it a bit more space here and allow for the fact that, we could see this as A, B, and then have that C wave to the downside. So the key area of rejection, if that's going to be playing out, is going to be over here at this zone. So we've actually come into that 50%. 786 is this 2966. If we fail to break back above this 786 range, I'd be continuing to look for that possibility of at least one more drop down here, possibly towards this 2722. But like I said, we've got a couple of levels here. We've got the 618 at this 2804. Golden pocket is this whole zone here. And then if this does look to push down lower, potentially this 2691. We also have that one-to-one of the Y wave here within this little cluster here. So it could be somewhere within here. If we're looking structure wise, this could potentially mean coming back into some of these support zones, either lower down here or towards this one-to-one of this Y wave would be straight into this area. So yeah, I mean that's what I'd be looking out for if we do start to break down lower. But we just need to be aware of that, of that more bearish case where if we do start to break down below that 25-cent range, we could actually have a bigger 5-wave move down, breaking out here to the downside. So this 25.12 is going to be a key area if we are looking for this. In the most immediate move, it would be this 26.30 zone. So if we do break down past this 26.30, we need to start being on the lookout for additional fourth waves here. And then we could actually look for this move to continue to the downside, which could actually look to take these lows, or to take this low here, which would actually invalidate that potential then, that this is a 1-2, 1-2, and then we'd have to just treat this as a corrective move at that point, and then those lower targets, potentially come into play. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, you will find affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. So check them out for yourself if you do not have an account. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Okay, everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.